I love all of my Pokemon equally, and although I can't give a Beast Paradox to every single one as much as I'd love to, I have to pick favorites. I'm sorry, all my Gooby Woobies. You should be happy to be brought into this world in the first place. If you don't know what Beast Paradoxes are, a quick explanation. They're essentially new forms mixed with a bit of Megas, big scary versions of Pokemon that adapted to Ultra Space, and are now taking a vacation in Ostaran to wreck the place. For a better in-depth explanation, go watch my previous Beast Paradox Extravaganza video. This video is going to focus on mainly Ostaran Pokemon, with one older Pokemon getting a bit of Ultra love, and maybe one of the first to have a version-exclusive Beast Paradox form. Also note that these Pokemon wouldn't be found in Ostaran normally, unlike some of the other Beast forms, except maybe for some raid-like Paradox portals. You'd have to wait until late game to get these guys. Let's start with a fossil Pokemon found only in Ostaran's depth, Sentinel. Recently found again, Sentinel is based on the Thylacine, or the Tasmanian tiger, an extinct animal that was gone way before our time. Ostaran's depths also had two other fossil Pokemon who gained Ostaran forms due to just kind of chilling down there for endless amounts of time, instead of going extinct. Tyrantrum and Archeops, who I may admit Archeops is still one of my favourite Ostaran designs. But Sentinel wasn't so lucky, but in Ultra Space, some things changed.
So, this is where you came in. See, just like I said, I'm the victim here. I didn't do anything, and they ruined my life and took everything I had.
Hey, give it a rest up there, will ya?
Based on the Thylacoleo, this strange-looking creature is like a cross of a beaver, rat, and tiger. And honestly, that's about right. It's a marsupial lion, and such an interesting creature, showing how marsupials are so unique. So instead of it being fully Beast Paradox, Sentinel's Beast Paradox is sort of what it looked like truly in the past, only partially adapted and grown larger for Ultra Space. It's got them big special funny chompers. It no longer has the rock or ghost type, so it's fluffier and loses those wispy energies. It has, instead of the bone energy lining its back, it becomes a bit more of a subtle bone pattern, also helping to fill in the dark type that it gains, as well as showing an almost aboriginal body paint design as well. I kind of like how it looks a little goofy compared to most other Beast Paradoxes, but if you underestimate it, it'll give you a big nom. Sentinel, Beast Paradox form, the ancient hunter Pokemon, are normal and dark type. Perhaps this isn't a true adaptation of Sentinel to Ultra Space, but what it once looked like in early times of Ostaran. Due to it being an incredible hunter, it rules the area of Ultra Space it is found in. The large front teeth of Sentinel provides an incredible bite that not many other Pokemon can emulate. This helps crack the hard exterior of Pokemon that call their territory home. Despite its hunting nature, it actually doesn't pose much of a threat to humans, preferring to hunt other Pokemon for sustenance. 2-star threat. This form of Sentinel has a new ability called Apex Hunter, where this Pokemon's not very effective moves have a high chance to crit against Pokemon at 50% or more health. Without just straight up doxing myself, there's a super iconic lighthouse nearest to where I live. And of course you can't mention lighthouses without the Strange Around the Twist show, where the actors just change constantly and my stupid baby head couldn't wrap around the fact and just didn't notice. Maybe the first show to ever have a fish swim into someone's wang and empower it as well. I'll let you do the research on that one. But of course, our premier light Pokemon Lampy Luca, based on glowworm bugs, is the best choice for a Lighthouse Beast Paradox in Ostaran. Lampy Luca starts as sort of a more traditional Japanese lantern shape, so its beast form it grows super tall and calls back to both its sort of pupa stage of a glowworm as well as termite mounds, combining all together with the little lighthouse lamp at the top. Lampy Luca itself becomes this big burly looking tank creature that squishes itself up when not walking around. Absolutely would walk in these big heavy steps like Gigalith or something like that. And for attacking, just absolutely bringing down its entire body like a stone column, just like Heavy Slam. Colours I kept it very earthy and went for warmer colours compared to its OG form, with the body being this bright red and yellow and now eerie orange light above it. I wonder if Numvote would even try to get a chomp on this tower of a Pokemon. Lampy Luca, Beast Paradox form, the Lighthouse Pokemon, a rock and bug type. The massive Lampy Luca stands in the darkest parts of Ultra Space, constructing a large tower-like structure around their body made of rock and saliva that houses other still-growing Lampy Luca. The tip of their tail has a bright bioluminescent energy that it will flash or rotate in various patterns to call other lost Lampy Luca back to the colony. Even if another Pokemon would come to assault the colony, Lampy Luca will rise on its many legs and smash the foe with attacks recklessly. Lampy Luca has a new ability called Glowing Body, where it increases the accuracy of attacks against this Pokemon, but reduces the accuracy of moves against other allies harshly. Continuing on our earthy trend, my sights are next set on Calamity, a frosty shrimp Pokemon that uses ice to create a more scary draconic appearance, and again, one of my more favourite designs. The inspiration for its beast form comes from Monster Hunter, very much so in the Homotoil lines, where they create shells from the bones of wyverns. Maybe I should turn Monster Hunter monsters into Pokemon. Dang, if you want that, comment down below, cause I'll do it, don't you tempt me. The idea was Calamity itself not really changing much, becoming more of a desert bug creature. Teeny tiny, but its power to control sand, much like the Trapinch line, in that it shores up massive amounts of sand to create a big old pile body. But not only that, its sheer control of the sand allows it to collect the bones of Beast Paradox Dragon Pokemon, and control it to make it look like an intimidating dragon. The skull almost looks like a bit of a Diablos. I don't know what Pokemon it would actually be, if I did, but I kind of like the idea of it being this like nebulous beast Pokemon that's never really revealed. The eye of the beast also has a glowing bit of sand in it to look like an unsettling eye. To truly make this shine, I referenced Sandaconda's G-Max form for the sand texture, and I think that really made it look quite exquisite. Also, zoom in. Enhance. Little man. Calamity, Beast Paradox form, the Bone Pile Pokemon, a ground and dark type. With no ice to find in a particularly dry part of Ultra Space, Calamity had to take a much more literal adaptation to their usual dragon-shaped ice formations they would utilize on their body. Bones of long-past Beast Paradox Pokemon lay dormant, till Calamity collects them in a massive pile of heavy sand. It controls the sand, every grain, and can use it to manipulate the bones in a truly horrifying display. A highly aggressive nature and control over Earth means this form of Calamity is a real problem. 4-star threat. This form of Calamity has the ability Water Compaction. Beta Pokemon are always so interesting, like the designs are usually not even that bad, and Game Freak said, nah, we're gonna do even better. Like Beta Gibble's line, they were cooking something fierce. For me, my beta Pokemon are most just ideas in my head for Ostaran Pokemon before I actually drew them. And for Dingladius, a sort of newer entry to Ostara, my original idea was this Lycanroc Midnight-esque, funny, almost cartoon dingo. I wanted to have it be a bit more of a cool, dangerous dog that trains others in gladiatorial combat. This version of Dingladius wasn't as strong in Ultra Space and became a little more dastardly, camouflaging with the surrounding snow and using dirty tactics. It's got a bit of a One Piece and Tim Burton style mixed in with big exaggerated faces, and its hands and feet adopting a more rigid snow shoveling shape. It'd probably mainly fight more using special attacks and furious bites. It's a snowy wolf, so whites and cooler colours. This one's kind of got a big bad wolf energy to it. Dingladius, Beast Paradox form, the Ice Wolf Pokemon, an Ice and Dark type. Cold weather and requiring camouflage forced Dingladius to become this curious form. It is no longer an apex predator and must rely on stealth and hit-and-run tactics to survive. Unlike its Ostaran form, Dingladius cares not for strength and fair fights, instead it will use any advantage it can take to defeat its foe. In battle it will claw and flick snow at its foe's eyes to temporarily blind them, then biting down with freezing cold teeth. Both dangerous and an annoyance, especially hard to catch. 3-star threat. This form of Dingladius' ability is Snow Cloak. Alright, so our final two are version exclusives of the same Pokemon, and the lucky Pokemon is Swoobat.
Well, I don't know what I expected.
I actually really love this Pokemon. It's better than the Swoobat line in every way, don't come at me. And honestly, these would also work as evolutions as well. Each of these designs takes on the vampire bat, who kind of nick creatures and then lap up that tasty blood. Obviously though, we are going to go ham on the literal interpretation of a vampire. So let's start with our first form. This one is more of a physical attacker and plays on that big swoopy vampire cloak that's used in vampire media. It's their wings and they sort of wrap it around their super long legs to make themselves look larger and more intimidating. It's got an inverted love heart because it's evil, and also the ears swoop around like some depictions of that silly Nosferatu hair that vampires sometimes have. Obviously the wing that was out was a lot smaller, but I felt like that looked completely unable to wrap around, so I made it longer and that helped make it look much more intimidating. Obviously for our spooky version of Swoobat, this adopts a completely dark colour scheme, with colours being reversed only for the nose and eyes, helping to give it that beastly glow as well. Swoobat, Beast Paradox form, the vampire Pokemon, a dark and flying type. Different reports from our researchers have found two types of Beast Paradox Swoobat inhabiting the same area at different visits. This form shows an intimidating silhouette by wrapping its long wings up. However, underneath these pliable wings are actually just long legs, with its body being quite stumpy. Although intimidating, it's still quite dangerous, with needle-like teeth it will use to drain the blood of its victims. It will sometimes leave these victims just alive enough for multiple feedings. This form of Swoobat has a new ability called Bloodlust, which has a chance to heal or raise this Pokemon's stats randomly on dealing damage. The lower the opponent's health, the more likely this ability is to activate. Of course, what's a vampire without its castle?
A miserable little pile of secrets!
And fitting as I just finished watching Castlevania and loved it, this form of Swoobat has massive swoopy wings that don't work too good. They're strangely torn and make this almost village or outside castle shape to complement the castle peak that is Swoobat's head. Inspired by the Palumu from Monster Hunter, Swoobat's tail now ends in this big, magical fluff ball that when in the right angle looks like a massive full bright moon. It's showing them long leggies unlike its other form, and I think this one I prefer a bit more. Sure, it's on the nose with how it looks, but I think that's really fitting for a castle Pokemon. Colours, I went to the blue of the original Swoobat, but a bit darker. It's a dark fairy type, and with its abilities I will bring Swoobat into the meta. It will be so powerful. Swoobat, Beast Paradox form, the vampire Pokemon, a dark and fairy type. Different reports from our researchers have found two types of Beast Paradox Swoobat inhabiting the same area at different visits. When first sighted, our researchers thought a full moon had risen with a large imposing castle looming in front, but upon getting closer it was a strange form of Swoobat. This moon shape actually sheds light and can even launch powerful moon blasts from it, ironically enough. Is it coincidence that it looks like a castle, or did adaptation take a strange turn for this form of Swoobat? This form of Swoobat has a new ability called Moonrise, which sets up a new terrain called Full Moon on entry, increasing the offensive stats of Dark, Fairy, and Ghost type Pokemon, and lowering Grass and Fire type offensive stats. And that's it for our horrifying beast Pokemon. Comment below what you thought of the video and the designs in it, as well as chuck a like and share it around. Next video, I think it's time we do a sit and turn Digimon into Pokemon. I randomized some Digimon, and some of them were easier than others to turn into Pokemon. It was a lot of fun though, so pop by next week, same time, to see that video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
She's so